One Arabian fairy and 1,000 tales. Hello, my friends. I am Marwa, your storyteller, basket weaver, oriental dancer, painter, Arabic calligrapher, herbalist. In our world, no one is just one thing. As I've shared before, we will have a plant companion to guide our tale. Today, it will be the sacred fig tree. You know, originally I thought of mentioning only native plants from our region, but for this tale, it had to be this specific tree. Every so often, I feel like I've lost the meaning in the little things, but this tree reminds me that meaning is something we choose to seek. I first saw my sacred fig tree in Beirut, next to a cemetery, and she captivated me. I'd point her out every time we passed by. It became a symbol to me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it had a story to tell. Later, I learned more about it. Buddhists call it the Bodhi tree, especially that its lineage traces back to the tree under which Buddha found enlightenment, and that's how it became sacred. Like all trees, the fig can grow her roots through rocks, pushing through what seems unbreakable. Of course, I take this as a metaphor. Through the stories passed down from our ancestors, we somehow find the strength to break new paths. We all start with a taproot, the first root that grows, anchoring us. It begins from a small seed, and that rooting is personal work. My dearest, when I felt lost in this world, I had to look inward, deep beneath the soil of my being. There, I found endless gifts. And what I felt wasn't just gratitude. It was something deeper for the generosity of my parents. Every word I speak, every creative act I perform is because of them. The truth is, I was raised by undercover artists. My dad to the world was just a merchant. But in truth, he was quietly tending to his small garden of heaven. Literally, he is a green wizard. When he was younger, he had the potential to become a great painter. But no one supported him. We grew up flipping through his only sketchbook, seeing glimpses of what could have been. And my mom, she worked as an Arabic teacher, and she is finishing her PhD now. But she has other superpowers. To us, at home, she was a dancer, a singer, and an incredible chef. And believe me, I'm not saying all this because they are my parents. Both of them hid their talents away very carefully, tucked in the corners of their lives. I carried those gifts with me, as you would carry a candle in a storm. So fragile, yet determined to keep the flame alive. When I arrived in Beirut, with the help of amazing friends, I slowly opened that box of hidden treasures, and I began to go through it piece by piece, which led me to get into art school, but that's another story. It amazes me how much strength we already carry within us. Of course, when it comes to family, we can't be fair and share details, because these stories are still being written. But I find the courage to say that the challenges my family faced with their own families could have easily turned us into revenge seekers. The unfairness, the greed, the hatred. Yes, it started in the family long before it mirrored the struggles I faced in society. like those roots, we had to grow through the rocks, pushing past the temptation for vengeance and choosing instead forgiveness. Why? Because we knew what was best for us. And I knew that because of my parents, the way they raised my younger sister and me. Although art does cleanse your soul, but it's a mystery to me how they did it. They taught us to be gentle, even in a world that wasn't always so kind. And it seems to me now like one of the highest and hardest of all teachings. The last question Buddha asked himself before enlightenment was, what is it that I'm striving for? What is it I'm wandering the entire country for? Going from school to school, learning this, learning that. What is it that I'm looking for? Then he realized, there is really nothing. This life is already on. All I have to do is just take away the barriers which are not allowing me to experience this. And bitterness, my friends, is one of those barriers. My stories are my way to move the lens to what I find important. Until next time, so much love to all.